The latest joint report by UNICEF, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, and the United Nations, dubbed a neglected tragedy, the global burden of stillbirths, indicates that globally about 2 million stillbirths occur every year. Now, if you do the math, that translates to nearly 5,400 stillbirths every day. For many, this may just be numbers, but what do these numbers mean for the millions of parents who have labored in vain only to welcome a lifeless baby? Let's sink into the world of Christina Adhiambo and her husband Kevin Otieno, who began their journey into parenthood on this sad note. 29-year-old Christina Adhiambo and her husband Kelvin Otieno have walked the dark path. They invite me into their humble home in Mwiki area of Kasarani in Nairobi. Watching them spend a light family moment with their daughter, one cannot tell the pain they went through after losing their firstborn son at 39 weeks of pregnancy. All was well for Christine during her pregnancy journey, not until she was almost due for delivery.
So dakika ya mwisho nilikuwa nasikia tumbo ni mzito. Nikikaa nasikia uzito. Nikilala na side moja naona ni kama ni mawe imewekwa imeachiliwa side moja. Nikiamka tena naona ni kama inaenda side nyingine. So sikuwa najua nini na happen.
Regardless of the complications, she went into labor and was pregnant with hope of bringing her baby into this world. Little did they know that their excitement would be short-lived.
Nikapack manguo, diapers, vitu za hosi, zile zinatakikana. I was so happy. Niko kwa labor naenda kuzaa. And I knew that my baby is coming. So nikamwambia mtu yeye anakam. Pia nikaona amefurahia. Anakuja akachukua bag, tukachukua akaita taxi. Tukaenda kwa that hospital.
Tulipofika hosi nasa alipoenda kuangalia aka notice. Ni kama ali notice something fishy. So at the back of my mind mimi nilikuwa na zile za vitu tuziko poa. So tukaenda scan.
Kwenda kwa scan kuangalia heartbeat ya mtoto hakuna. Mtoto ashafika kuzaliwa, njia inafunguka, lakini heartbeat yake hakuna. Mimi sasa nikabukiwa niko ndani ya labor, akatoka nje akaambia mzee kuko hivi, mtoto ndio bibi ako kwa labor but lose mtoto. Mtoto alipass kwa tumbo na hata akupass lea sai alipass kitambo.
Giving birth to a lifeless baby pushed her to her breaking point.
I thank God hiyo time ilifika nikazaa. Mtoto akatoka baby boy. Mtoto mkubwa mzuri, alikuwa anafanana na babake kabisa. Nikaekewa hapo kando. I couldn't believe. Sikuwa naamini.
What was going on?
Juu hata akitoka na remember umbilical cord ilikuwa imemzunguka kichwa mara 3. So nasa akambeba juu hivi akaniambia Christine, hii ndio ilinyonga mtoto. Baka nikamwambia na jaribu kumtoa tuone kama atapumua. Unaona ile hope. Sikuwa na mtoto mkubwa. Jaribu kutoa tuone kama mtoe. Akamtoa. Akanambia huyo ameenda Christina, ameenda. Hata akisimamishwa hivi, ameshikwa hivi, ameenda, hayuko. Sikuamini.
Reality struck when they left the hospital without the expected bundle of joy. That journey back home was long and hard.
I remember nikimtoa hosi naona mtu mwingine amekuja kuchukua wife yake na mtoi, and then mimi narudi tu na hizo mzigo zangu nikiingiza kwa gari tukirudi home. It was really sad.
So kurudi kwa hao sasa ndo sasa reality sasa ikanigonga vizuri. Nilitoka hapa nikiwa na ball na umwa, nimerudi kwa nyumba peke yangu. Niko na mauchungu, maziwa ndo hiyo, matiti imefura. Sasa hapa kwa nyumba nilikuwa nikikaa nione suitcase vitu nilibai za mtoi ama zile vitu tulitoka nazo hosi nikirudisha kwa suitcase ilinimaliza.
What added salt to their injury was the misinformation and stigma around stillbirth, which left them isolated and trapped in their personal grief.
After hapo tulipoteza friends wengi. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anakuja kwetu. we grieve tukiwa tu wawili.
Some people normally think that wanaume ulia sana, and naweza kumbuka zile time nilikuwa kwa bafu, every time nilikuwa niko peke yangu nilikuwa nalia. Mimi kuhili kwangu haikuwa rahisi. I ended even asking for a transfer.
They are quick to admit that the pain of losing an unborn child cannot be underestimated. And so how did they manage to come out of this invisible pain?
I thank God for him both, kwa sababu hakuwa iniacha. Hata akiwa job atanipigia every time. Uko sawa? Umekula? Unafeel aje? Saa zingine anapika, ananifanyia vitu zile za kunikeep. Na feel niko na mtu karibu. Hiki kitu imetupata sisi wote. Siko peke yangu.
After months of struggling to heal from the immeasurable pain of losing their child, Christine got pregnant, and she says, once bitten, twice shy. This time she knew she will not take any chances.
Sasa kungoja dakika mwisho ati niumwe kabisa ndo niende hospitali. Vile nilianza tu kuumwa hivi, nikaenda hosi. Mwisho nikabukiwa in for CS, emergency CS. Nikafanyiwa. Siku imagine kusikia mtoto analia. Kubeba mtoto for the first time. Doctors wakaniuliza, Christine, here is your girl. Alikwambia huyu ni neema. Huyu ni neema ya Mungu.
Neema wiped the tears of her parents, and 2 years since she was born, Tina and Kelvin are expecting their third child. They can only hope that this journey will end with a bundle of joy. 20 million babies are projected to be stillborn in the next decade if trends observed between 2000 and 2019 continue. That is according to the latest joint report by UNICEF, the World Health Organization and World Bank. Professor Joseph Karanja is a gynecologist, and he now joins us live via Zoom to discuss how we can stop this surge in the cases of stillbirth. Thank you so much, Daktari, for creating time for us. Now let's begin straight away by just, explaining to us what stillbirth is and some of the common causes.
Thank you, Safin, for inviting me to this program to talk about stillbirths. A stillbirth is a baby who is born after the age of viability of pregnancy, that is after about 20 weeks to term, who is born dead and does not show signs of life. The causes are many. High blood pressure or hypertension is one of the commonest ones. Diabetes is another one, and that's why it is important that before a woman contemplates a pregnancy, to have a thorough checkup by a trained healthcare provider. And if there are conditions known to increase the risk of stillbirth, to be controlled or treated before they conceive. There are stillbirths that occur because of pre-existing conditions in the woman, and others that will occur from conditions that occur during pregnancy. Situations such as trauma, maybe from road, traffic accidents, or even beatings, can also cause stillbirths from the damage to the uterus or interruption of the attachment of the placenta.
So, Daktari, once a pregnancy has been termed as high risk, what do you advise as the immediate steps to take to increase the chances of survival of the baby?
The healthcare providers will put the woman who is at high risk of getting a stillbirth into a surveillance program where blood tests will be done, including blood group, hemoglobin, certain infections, viral infections, and other and bacterial diseases will be screened for and treated where found.
It really must be a traumatizing experience to take the patient through that, pain without gain, having lost a child. What is it like, and what would you tell the patient in terms of their expectations in their healing journey?
Once a stillbirth has occurred, the woman needs psychosocial support from the family and the community and the healthcare providers, because she will be in a grieving situation. She will need support to protect her from getting a mental breakdown from the excessive or too severe grieving process.
So, Daktari, usually after the loss of a baby, we are fond of telling people, utapata mwingine, you're still young. Is it that easy? And what are some of the things that a couple should consider before they decide whether or when to have another child?
Once a woman has recovered from the stillbirth process, she has to space another pregnancy if she so desires to get another baby. This is generally recommended for all women who have had a delivery or a stillbirth to have some rest before they have another pregnancy. This time we'll also be taking to do thorough checkups to see whether any causes of stillbirth may be identified and treated before this time, before another pregnancy is started.
Thank you so much, Daktari, once again for your time. Now, ever wondered what to do when you're supporting someone who has just lost a child through stillbirth? What is the right thing to say, or what is the right thing to do? Well, Wanjiru Kihusa, the founder of Still a Mom, an organization that supports a family through this kind of loss, has this to say.
Physical presence is very important. Like, it cannot, there's nothing that can replace physical presence. You can send money, you can send text, you can send everything. You can be an amazing friend from afar, but when you show up, there's a way that friends really feel your presence at that time. And while you're there, understand what logistics are currently going on, because it is while you're there you will notice, oh, they're organizing a burial, they need somebody to do XYZ, they need to run someone to run an errand. Then discover where they are. Sometimes they want to talk about what happened to them, sometimes they don't want to talk about what happened to them. I mean, it's a sad moment, but so what will happen is that we will usually feel like the need to talk and talk and talk. And what that does is that we end up saying some really insensitive stuff. So we'll be over there saying, oh, don't worry, you guys are young, you'll have another child. Oh, it's God's will, God knew. I mean, we find ourselves saying all this stuff in the effort to comfort. A lot of moms and dads who've lost a child will always tell you, nobody ever said something to me that was mean on purpose. But there's just that need to always say something. Don't get that pressure. So so just come and sit in that awkwardness, and then participate in major milestones for them. Like, for example, one of the things a lot of women struggle with is you had bought the shopping, so there are all these baby clothes in the house. Going over at a friend's house to help them deal with that, like it could be that they are folding and putting them away, they are giving them out, is actually a very big deal, and it's something that they would actually have to break down doing. But now while you're there, they feel more strengthened strengthened to do it. And then finally, do not rush your friends to grieve. Don't be like, hey Bana, it's been like 6 months, why haven't you moved on? Why are we still crying? What's wrong with you? People grieve so differently, and go easy on people, be patient with them, do not rush them. And if you can find a way to remember their child, don't feel awkward about it, and remind them whenever they want to talk about it.
There you have it. Sometimes just your physical presence is more than enough. Be bold next time and stand with a parent who hoped to receive their bundle of joy but went home empty, drowning in their ocean of tears. And for you, mommy and daddy, wipe your tears. Your pain was not in vain after all. Dead or alive, you're still a parent to your baby, and your bond remains unbreakable. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.